both myself and Jane have our own separate businesses, which both are there to empower children anyway, and we've kind of come together on this venture, collaborated to have a special day for children to learn all of the things that they need to know to, result in confident adults.
What do they need to know then, and why is it so important that you start them at such a young age, as early as 5 years old?
I think for them to kind of engage and understand of what's happening in this day and age at the moment, to get it in as early as possible, it helps them grow, and they build more confidence with that. So if they say they're about 16 or 17 and they're only engaging with it now, they're not going to have the whole educational purpose behind representation, self-love and confidence and feeling empowered at that time. So I think getting it in as young as 5, I mean, as early as possible would be great. We kind of expect a bit more at that age for them to understand themselves better.
And also, it's building that resilience. We all know the type of world that we live in now, that we always have, really. So it's building resilience in children from as young as possible, so that when they do encounter things, it doesn't knock their confidence, it doesn't knock their self-esteem, and they're able to kind of push through whatever those things are and be proud of who they are, and able to not let that affect, how they get on in life.
Do you think there is a sort of deficit then in children understanding these things, because they're such a blank canvas at such an early age? Do you think that they do encounter these sort of problems, particularly in the capital where it's such a melting pot?
They definitely do. Yeah. Both myself and Jane developed our own individual businesses based on the experiences of our own children. So, for example, my daughter started school as quite a confident child, and within, I'd say, 6 months, she had fallen out of love with her natural afro hair. She was questioning, the colour of her skin. Why are things this way? Why is my hair not straight? And I'd like it yellow and straight. They were her exact words. And that story isn't unique to myself or to Jane. So many parents we come across have the exact same story. So obviously something is happening where, children are getting, their self-esteem is getting knocked, and they no longer are embracing themselves.
Yeah. How have you seen that, Jane?
So my daughter, Leela, who's also the co-founder of Pigment Perfect, so we lived in a predominantly white area, and she was the target because she was the only black girl in her class. And I think mainly for her it was, obviously she fell out of love with her skin, her culture and things like that. But it was also the fact that I'm light-skinned and her dad's black. So she didn't understand how she came about to be a different shade. Yeah. So, we kind of pushed towards the fact that, you can have different colours in your family, but you're all the same underneath. So I think that was kind of the main thing to help her grow up with as well. So it's everywhere you go, you will see it. The children are evidence. So.
And do you think that's a bigger issue in places like London, where it's so multicultural, than anywhere else in the UK?
Yeah, 100%.
It is. I did grow up outside of London, and I went through exactly the same thing growing up outside of London as well. In the capital, there are more things in place, I think, to encourage children to embrace themselves. But I think until you're actually met with your children coming home and expressing that dislike for themselves, you don't always think about it. Or for myself, I just assumed that, in this day and age, my daughter wouldn't go through the same things I went through, when in actual fact, nothing had changed. And she still went through those same issues.
So given this, the event that's happening on Sunday, what will you be doing for the kids there? What kind of events can we see taking place and discussions to help them sort of look at this?
We have so much planned, so much that we're excited for. Yeah. So the day will start with a self-love art workshop. There will also be a mini money management workshop. So we're also very passionate about children learning financial literacy from as young age as possible. So they know how to manage their money when they're older. We have a Black History workshop, dance workshop, hair education workshop. We have question and answer session with some mini celebrities that we have come in, just to give them that bit of inspiration as well.
We have numerous vendors as well that's associated with helping in the black community as well. So we have a list of those and they're really good, they're brilliant.
So as well as sort of teaching kids to deal with their own heritage, it's also about teaching other kids not to be prejudiced when they grow up and to learn about other cultures as well. So you're hoping sort of as much white and different ethnic backgrounds come together for this as possible.
It's so important, I think, that those conversations happen as early as possible. So for children to come along and, you know, we'll have white children in the audience learning about what Afro texture hair is about, how to maintain it. And I think when we get rid of those stereotypes and that curiosity, then, you know, all of the things that come along with that are dispelled, and then you get along a lot better.
Do you think this is something that schools haven't been able to do as much as they could have done? They haven't been able to devote enough time to this particular issue as they would have wanted?
I think, especially in my daughter's school, they don't even teach black history. So I think, you know, for us to be able to do this in a place for everyone, so no one's not excluded, I think schools do need to kind of push their game a bit, because if people are outside of outside of schools are doing this, it's kind of proving a point that, you know, they need to facilitate something as important as this. You know, so children can grow up to not discriminate others and respect other ethnic backgrounds.
And I think, you know, I think schools can be quite wary of even speaking about a topic such as this. A lot of people don't feel comfortable about it, and in those circumstances, then they should be kind of outsourcing people that can, if they don't feel comfortable doing it themselves, because it's so important, like I said, that those conversations happen from a very young age, and then we grow up in a more equal society.
And how will this benefit the parents as well? Because you'll hope the kids walk away with a new understanding, but how will you hope the parents see this event?
I think, you know, some parents, when they're faced with the issues that our children were faced with, sometimes they don't know what to do. You know, you're hit with, okay, my daughter or my son doesn't love themselves anymore. What do I do? So I think this is a great starting point to kind of get them into a community where, you know, we'll teach them to love themselves. But also some of the workshops that we've got on, such as the hair education workshop, that will be led by a mother and a daughter, giving tips on, you know, how to maintain natural Afro hair and things like that. So the parents will pick up a lot from the day as well.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
I might have to come to the money literacy workshop because I certainly need some help with that. But thank you so much. And let's just remind people how they can come. The event is on Sunday, the 1st of September at Pop Brixton.